My name is Mary Warigia. I'm going to teach you lesson 2 of real estate marketing. And the unit code is BEG 2225. We covered our lesson 1, which we introduced marketing, what is marketing, explained what marketing was, what type of orientation that are there, product, sales, or market orientation, which we said, which would be a focus of our unit, which basically means to meet our customer needs. And we also spoke about the 4 P's and the additional 3 P's of marketing. So today, in our chapter, the lesson 2, we are going to have the nature and scope of marketing. That's our discussion for the day. So, marketing is a cross-functional role. What does that mean? Is that it happens in many departments. It happens in many places. It happens in finance. It happens in human resource. It happens in all the departments of an organization. So, but how does it manifest itself? How do the coordinating roles of marketing, how do they manifest themselves? So number 1 is that there is sharing of information, and that information comes from marketing. So for example, if you are launching a new product, let's use MKU as an example. We are going to launch a new degree program. Who are the first people we are going to sell to? We are going to sell to the staff, we are going to sell to the students before we sell it to our customers or our customers to be. Then the other thing about marketing as a cross-functional role is that there is common goal setting. Because remember, marketing feeds into the strategic objectives of an organization. Because remember that marketing is the one that brings in customers and tells customers who you are. So what are some of the things that the customers must know about you, and what do customers do? Customers drive your numbers. And remember, when any organization that has been set up for a reason and a purpose. Then also the other thing that the marketing does is clear company policies. For example, does everybody speak on behalf of the organization? So if a camera crew comes here today, does the messenger of MKU speak to the camera crew, or who speaks to the camera crew? And that's a role of marketing. And then also marketing becomes a service provider. What does that mean? That marketing services other departments. For example, it services products. So if you are not able to push your products, whom do you ask that your products are not moving? Or who gives feedback to the products department? It is marketing. And then also, the cross-functional, I had discussed about internal marketing. Internal marketing is where you try to sell to your own people internally. So that's another function of marketing. So we'll go into internal marketing, explaining and getting into depth of internal marketing. And what is this? It is the use of marketing tools to create a suitable organizational culture. So for example, if you have a culture of what kind of language do we speak? How do we speak to each other? How do we carry ourselves? How do we communicate that? We have to communicate that internally amongst ourselves. And then how do you achieve that? Number 1 is you have to foster an atmosphere of pride. You have to be proud to be working for a certain organization. So for example, there are certain organizations, when you meet people from those organizations, they are very proud to tell you about, I work for, let me give an example, Equity Bank, for example. If you meet anybody who works for Equity Bank, they'll tell you, I work for Equity Bank. They are proudly associated with their employer and where they work. Another organization I find people are very proud about is Safaricom. If you go and complain about Safaricom to a Safaricom employee, more often than not, even if they are not engineering or they are not in that department, they'll try and find you a solution. So that is a culture. Foster an atmosphere of pride. Be proud of where you're working. The other one is to provide suitable vehicles for innovation. Is to give people opportunity to innovate. So you come into an organization and say, why are we doing this? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do this? For example, I'll give you an example of Google. Google, Gmail, all these things, YouTube, were developed by their employees because they give them a certain percentage of their time that you're supposed to be working, to be innovating. So that is also part of internal marketing. And then improve lateral communication, improve communication between people, communication between departments, communication between different levels of people. That is very, very important. And then the other thing about internal marketing is to cut down layers of hierarchy. Remember, the higher the hierarchy, the lower the flow of information from top, bottom, and the other way around. It becomes difficult when there is too much bureaucracy for information to flow. And then also what internal marketing does is that it makes information available about an organization. Have you ever gone to an organization and nobody, when you ask the receptionist, they don't know who does what, where do they send you? That is lack of internal marketing. So what are the tools that we use to do internal marketing? One of them is internal newsletters. So those newsletters can be either monthly, quarterly, every six months, or yearly. So depending on the needs of the organizations, the size of the organization. For example, if you have an organization where there are only 5 employees, a monthly newsletter would not make a lot of sense. Maybe every 6 months, because then you have more activities. Then we have staff magazines. These are the ones now you update. We have new babies, we have new employees, we have new people who have reported. All those things, you can capture them in a staff magazine. The other one, which is a bit cheaper and more common, is staff meetings. Staff meetings where you can make them weekly, make them fortnightly, or make them monthly, depending on the size and the nature of your organizations. But most organizations would prefer, particularly if it's a big organization, you have departmental meetings that are monthly, so that then everybody is able to feed back and say, this is what I've experienced, these are the challenges, and these are the highs or the lows that we're experiencing as a department. And then also we have team building exercises. This is where you get your team, you get them out of the office environment and you get them out. That's when you get to understand who they are, what they are passionate about, what are their hobbies. Then you'll get to understand them and know how to work with them when you get back to the office. The other one of internal marketing is employee awards. So you go to some organizations, especially banks, you'll find employee of the month, employee of this. It's a very good way of marketing internally. So, and then we go into societal, because remember what we are discussing? We are discussing the scope, nature and the scope of marketing. So we go into societal marketing. This is where the firm is, this is a management orientation that suggests that the key task of the firm is to determine the needs and wants of target markets and to adopt the organization to delivering the desired satisfaction more efficiently and effectively. So what we are saying is we serve a society, you serve a community, MKU serves the community. We serve certain audiences. We are not an end in ourselves. So how do we serve the people whom we are targeting to serve? How do we do it? So that's part of the scope of marketing. So as a marketer, you have to be able to identify what is our market, what are the needs of the people that we want to serve, what are the needs of that particular society, because different communities and societies have got different requirements and different needs. So you got to understand what are the needs of this community and what are the needs of that particular societies. One of the mistakes that international organizations make is that they come, for example, an organization comes from South Africa, they are based in South Africa, their head office is in South Africa, but they are coming to Kenya. So they'll carry the advertisements that they have in South Africa and they bring them to Kenya. Kenyans will not relate to that kind of thing. You bring us an ad that has a white person. We are generally black. So those are some of the things that you have to take into consideration as a marketer. And then we go into social responsibility. Again, remember we are serving a society. What are we socially responsible for? Nowadays there's a new saying that says the 3 Ps. We have to take care of profit, the planet, and the people. We have to take care of all the 3. the 3 Ps. It's not just about profit anymore. It's about the communities that we are serving. It's about the environment. What are we about as an organization? And that will give us an edge as we place ourselves under social responsibility. So I'd like to give a small assignment on this, is what is the meaning and arguments for and against corporate social responsibilities. There are those people who advocate for social responsibilities. There are those people who are against social responsibilities. So if you can do that assignment, what do the ones who advocate for and against, and bring out those arguments. So then we have responsibilities to customers. Remember, we are focusing on marketing orientation. And marketing orientation, we said, it is focusing on the customer needs. So some of the organizations have, remember we have 7 Ps, which we are going to discuss in chapter 4. We have shifted from the 7 Ps to 7 Cs, so that then we are able to convert from the Ps to the Cs and focus on the customers completely. And how do we do that? How do we shift from one to the next? So we shift from product, we go to customer solution of value. So it is not just about product. It's about your customer. What value does the customer receive from the product that you're selling to them? And then we shift from price. That we are so focused on price competition, we are going to lower our price. No, we shift from price and we move into cost to the customer. There are certain products that are highly priced, and they still have customers because it is what the customer feels. Yes, it is expensive, but I'm getting value. So cost to customer. So we have to have, whatever we do in marketing, the back of our minds, we need to have customer at the center of it. And then promotion, how are we promoting? It's not just about promoting. It's not just about calling me and telling me that you have this product and that product. It's trying to communicate to me and convincing me so that I am the one who makes the decision, not you. And then we move from place to convenience. So we are moving from, we are based in Thika. Our head office is in Thika. We are MKU. And if you want to interact with us, you come to Thika. No, we go to convenience. We move online. Now we have e-learning. We have Microsoft Teams that is enabling us to make it convenience for the customers. And then process. We move from process. So it is not just about the process flow, moving from one process to the next. It's about coordinating, and coordinating for the sake of the customer. Remember, at the center of it is a customer whom we are focusing on. Then we move from physical evidence to confirmation. So this one is, you don't have to come to Thika to confirm that we actually teach. You can go online and see, and you can get evidence that we actually are able to teach. We confirm. We are confirming to you that we teach, and you can go check our systems, and this is what we do. So we go into, again, customers. Marketing also has an aspect of customer service, which has become acknowledged as a result of growth of consumerism. And what is consumerism? Consumerism refers to the increased importance and power of consumers. Consumerism refers to the increased importance and power of consumers. It includes the increasing organized consumer groups and the recognition by producers that consumer satisfaction is the key. You have seen customers coming together and saying no to something. You have seen this, in Kenya we have an organization that takes care of customers. So if you buy something that is rotten and you're a member there, that organization will go and complain on your behalf. So what does that mean? That customers are at the center of whatever we do. Whatever production we do, our customers are at the center. And that's what drives. And consumerism has become a big thing because of social media. I can tweet about a bad product, and no organization wants to be seen as a bad product in the eyes of its customers. So remember again, we are serving who? We are serving community. We are serving a society. So as a business and in marketing, we need to take into account responsibilities to community. And one of the way to demonstrate social awareness is, number one, we uphold the social and ethical values of the community. For example, if you go into a Muslim country, I doubt you can go and set up a pig factory. You have to uphold the ethical values of that specific community. Because remember, you're not just serving, organizations are not an end in themselves. They must be serving a certain need. So if you go into a Muslim community, there's no way you're going to set up a pork factory. And then contributing to the well-being of the community. What those products that you're doing or the service that you're offering, does it contribute to the well-being of the community? We have seen a lot of products and services that have been opposed by communities. We have seen coal projects that have been opposed, a lot of projects that have been opposed because they are harmful to the community in which they are going to be set up. So as an organization, as a person in marketing, you have to be very, very aware that it's not just serving the organization, it's also serving the community in which your organization operates. And then responding constructively to complaints from community members. Don't ignore. And especially if you're polluting the environment, and particularly around real estate, when you go into a construction, if you're going to be marketing for a developer, and there are issues that have been raised, don't ignore them, because they're going to bring you challenges later as you progress with that project. And then maintaining sustainable presence in the community. There are certain organizations that will come once in a year, they'll give out food and then they disappear. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to be sustainable, to be present, and to be seen, so that then the community acknowledges and knows that that organization actually exists. Remember again, as an organization, the community also includes employees. So your responsibility to employees, as far as marketing is concerned, because remember, this is a marketing aspect. Because if the bad word goes out, it is marketing that gets affected. It's the marketing of that organization that gets affected. So how are we responsible as an organization to employees? What must we do? What are some of the things that we must do? Fair pay and conditions. There are certain employers who do not pay their employees on time, or they do not pay their employees fairly. And that's why the government, as you may know, has introduced the minimum wage. There is a certain amount under which you should not pay somebody less than that which has been determined by the government. Then also safe and healthy working conditions. And this has become very pertinent with Corona. We have all seen social distancing, washing your hands all the time. And all these things are going to be very, very pertinent as we go back to work or as we go back to normal. So that, as an organization and as an individual who is in marketing, you need to be very cognizant of that. The other thing that you have a responsibility as a marketing person in an organization is commitment to equal opportunity, non-discrimination. Whether somebody is disabled, what their color of their skin is, white, black, or whatever color they are, we need to have a commitment to equal opportunity. Then we need to have humane disciplinary situations. So it doesn't matter what people have done, we need to handle them fairly and justly. Remember, this is a marketing function, because this word will go out to others, and it always comes back to bite us. And then also support of employee welfare. The next thing that we'll discuss, remember, we are discussing the nature and scope of marketing. So what are the things that marketing covers? Responsibility to suppliers and competitors. Remember, our organizations, we are always getting input from other people. And also we have other people whom we operate in the same market. What kind of competition do we want to have? What kind of competition do we want to exhibit to our competitors? So the organization should not should not use its buying power unscrupulously. So for example, there are certain large organizations that use their power to buy from smaller businesses, and then they delay the payments. And we have seen that the government has come up with a legislation about payment, and so that then to reduce on this of bigger organization manipulating a smaller organization. And then the organization should not delay payments to suppliers beyond the agreed credit period, keeping all information received from suppliers confidential, and all suppliers to be treated fairly. And also, even with competitors, you need to treat your competitors fairly. We have seen in this country where you want to beat your competition, you go sell their product, you crush their bottles. So whatever competition and whatever we engage in has got to be ethical. So as a marketing person, engage yourself in ethical practices as a marketer. So we move to business ethics. Still, this will still fall under marketing, and I'm sure most of you are wondering why marketing. Because marketing involves so many different aspects. Remember, it's cross-functional. It has finance, it has people, it has competitors, it has all that. So business ethics is a core thing in marketing. This revolves around deciding between right and wrong. It is important that managers understand the importance of ethical behavior and the differences what is considered ethical in different cultures. So different cultures will look at ethical behavior from a different perspective. What is ethical in Kenya might be unethical in another country. So you have to understand the environment that you're operating in. So for example, we had an incident of the American President Bush. He went to a Muslim country, Arab, and he was hit with a shoe. And it was a big deal in that area. But it wasn't a big deal in America because their cultures are very different. They did not see the implication of the shoe, but in that culture, the shoe had meaning. But the person they were hitting did not get that meaning. So to act ethically, a firm may include value statements in corporate culture, policy, and codes of practice. So for example, if you go to most government organizations, they say no corruption, no bribery. They'll give you their standards of how they're going to serve you. All they're trying to do is to promote business ethics. It's part and parcel of marketing. Marketing the organization and what we do, what we stand for. Then ensure that incentive systems are designed to support ethical behavior. For example, if someone comes and tries to bribe me, if I become a whistleblower, what happens? Am I fired? So even an organization needs to inculcate a culture of allowing people to support ethical behavior. Because if I know that I come and say that someone tried to bribe me and I bring it out and then I lose my job, nobody will ever say. And then identify ethical objectives in the mission statement. If you go, like I told you, to identify what is the mission of MKU, you'll find that there will be ethical issues in that mission statement. And then encourage communication about ethical dilemmas and issues. So if your employees are experiencing ethical dilemmas, how do they handle it? Is it encouraged? Do you allow communication about that within the organization? Okay, then we go into relationship marketing. Remember, we are discussing the nature and scope of marketing. So relationship marketing, what is the relationship marketing? This is the process of creating, building, and maintaining long-term relationship with customers. Customers, distributors, and suppliers. And what is it? What does it aim to? It is an aim to retain. Because when you retain people or when you retain customers, it becomes cheaper for you to operate. And it is easier for you to sell to them other products. When you retain suppliers, they understand your standards. They understand your standards, your requirements, your ethical behaviors, and they even understand your culture. So in this relationship marketing, there are different types. We have several types and levels of relationships. Number one is transaction approach. So transaction approach is very basic. It's where I've sold you my phone, give me money. That's it. As to what happens to you, so a supplier gives the customer good or service in exchange for money. That's it. It's as simple as that. But when we have relationship approach, is a sale signifies the start of a relationship. So it is going to be a long term. You'll call the customer, find out, were you happy with the product? Did the product or service meet your customer expectation? Would you recommend your friends and all that? So that's what relationship marketing is. So we go into the differences between transaction marketing and relationship marketing. So transaction is one sale, and then relationship is to focus on customer retention. Transaction, again, its orientation is on product features. So I'll tell you, it has a nice camera, it has what, but I don't even care about the benefits you're going to derive from it. I could be telling you it has a camera, but you have another camera so you really don't need a camera on this phone. So that's the other difference. And then for transaction is short time scale, relationship is long time, transaction is little customer service, relationship is high customer service, and all the other differences that you will go through as you go through your notes. And then we go to levels of customer relationship. We have basic. So the firm sells the product without initiating any further contact with the customer. So when you go and buy bread, the shopkeeper doesn't ask you, where do you live? Will you come for bread tomorrow? They don't care. It's a very basic thing. They sell it and that's it. They don't, whether you buy tomorrow or not, they don't care. Then we have the reactive. The customer is invited to contact the organization if there are any problems. So if you go buy bread and it is spoiled, they'll only interact with you when you go back and say the bread was spoiled. And then we have another level is accountable. This is where the firm follows up the sale, contacting the customer to see if there are any problems and inviting feedback. The other one is proactive, where you go out, you contact the customer on a regular basis. You call them, find out. Then proactive is where you anticipate. You exchange information, you anticipate the customer's needs. That's when you become a partnership. And what are the benefits of relationship marketing? It leads to retention and loyal customers. It is also less costly to acquire customers. Then they can buy a broader range of products. It costs less to service because they are familiar with the way you do business. They become less sensitive to price over time. So once you have a customer, even as you increase the price, if they are happy, they'll not feel so much on the price. They can recommend or word of mouth, which is the best way to market yourselves. And finally, it opens up channels of communication to marketers to cross-sell the products. And we look at the ladder of customer loyalty, just how it's called a sales funnel. You move from a prospect to customer to client to supporter to an advocate. How the customer flows within the product. Then characteristics of relationship marketing is you focus on the customer retention than attraction, development of an ongoing relationship as opposed to a one-off, emphasis upon the benefits of the product to the customer a long time other than short time. And there are others there that we shall continue to look at. And what are the drivers of relationship marketing? One is it is cheaper to retain customers. Customer defection is destructive to the company. When customers leave you, it's very destructive. Customer loyalty leads to long-term stability and growth. Technological advances. It is very important that you maintain your customers, and small changes in retention rates have large effects on the future revenues. And this is CRM, Customer Relationship Management. This describes the methodologies and ICT systems that help a firm manage customer relationships. There are certain organizations, when you call, or even when they send you messages, they call you by your name. You can imagine, like, they have thousands of customers. This is what they are using. It is using IT, you incorporate it to help you in your marketing. And it makes your customers feel valued and wanted in your business. And what are the types of marketing that we have? We have B2B, so where your business sells to another business, right? Business to business marketing. And this one is concerned with mainly industrial goods and services. And we have different categories of goods that you do B2B. So business to business, capital goods, components and materials, supplies and business services. Capital goods include buildings, machinery and motor vehicles. Components and materials include raw processed materials or goods which are sold by private companies, and business services, for example, employers' liability insurance. That is end of our lesson 2 that has covered the scope and nature of marketing. Thank you.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.